So by the method of Rice and others, their group, if there is the specimen that we will show you in the next page, then we can define the J integral like this, and the linear part of it is the G value K1 squared by E dash, and the rest is this. So it becomes a simple and this is right double edged, right, double edge notched. So the crack size is A here, the crack size is A here, and the distance between them is 2B, and it is mode 1 loading still. So DENT, double edge notch tension specimen. So they used the same method that was done earlier, but mathematically derived it, that for certain cases we can directly do the mathematical derivation rather than going through the very long process of conversion from the load displacement curve to the other things. The functional relationship for displacement can be simplified by separating delta into the elastic and plastic components, right? Delta is delta elastic plus delta plastic. Substituting the above equation into earlier leads to a relationship for the elastic and plastic components, right? So again, delta elastic, delta plastic, we are repeating the same thing. It was there earlier also, but we are just repeating it for you. And we are saying that the J integral is, the elastic part is of course simply this. So delta plastic only with respect to delta B, and so on. Where E dash, of course, remember, is defined for plane stress and plane strain earlier, right? For plane stress, E dash is equal to E. For plane strain, E dash is equal to E upon 1 minus nu square, and so on. Now, we need only be concerned about the plastic displacements because the solution for the elastic component of J is already available, isn't it? Because the K1 solution, table 2.4, remember the K1 solutions for common test specimens, that is coming from long time back. So that is available, therefore we are not worried about the elastic portion. So therefore we are worried only about this portion. And just like we did in the CTOD, when the hinge specimen was there, we can divide the displacement into, divide the displacement into elastic and plastic regions. So here also we want to find the plastic part of the curve. After some manipulation and integration by parts, we can simplify it like this. This one is the same. This has simplified a little. 1 upon 2b integral p d delta twice minus p delta, right? This is integral p delta because integration by parts is there. So first time you do it, then you get p delta, and the next time you do it, it is from p d delta. And remember, this is under load this is the plastic. Delta p is the plastic part. Recall here that we assumed a unit thickness at the beginning of this derivation. In general, the plastic term must be divided by the plate thickness, right? So this term should be divided by the plate thickness, but because we are taking unit, right? Otherwise the area, right? It is force upon area. So the area is some dimension b into the thickness. So the plate thickness capital B will also be there. J integral has units of energy per unit area. It is the same like G, right? Energy per unit area. Another example from Rice and their group is an edge cracked plate in bending. We will show you in the next page. If the plate is subject to a bending moment M, it would displace by an angle omega NC if no crack were present. This NC is no crack, and an additional amount delta C when the plate is cracked. So we will show you the figure, but what they are saying is, again, don't worry about the mathematical derivation, just try to understand the basic math and the physics of the problem, the mechanics of the problem. The bending moment is there, and we are dividing bending moment into two portions. Find the bending moment if the crack was not there. So that is omega, this is capital omega, by the way, this is capital omega, right? So omega NC, that find the bending moment if there was no crack, and then omega C, find the bending moment if there is an crack. And then combine them, and then therefore the equation that you can obtain. Again, the linear part is just the same, but this will become 2 upon b 0 to omega p, right? The plastic part, m d omega p. Only the elastic part has gone there, and right, it is m d omega. So it is bending moment, and omega is the angle, the change in the angle. So let us see the figure. This is the figure, right? So the figure is very much like the hinge model. The figure is very much like the hinge model, isn't it? Very much like the hinge model. And it is a single piece, a single crack. This is the crack size. This is the remaining size B. This is the remaining size B. And they are measuring the bending moment, and they are saying this angle after the bend, this angle is omega by 2, because it is omega by 2 on both the sides. So the total bend angle is omega, right? So try to do this if this plate did not have any crack, and try to do this when this plate has a crack. So this omega is the angle through which it bends. So right, so measure that angle and you are done. Again, as I said, this is higher level work. We are trying to give you the basics so that you have some idea of how the theory was developed and how it is done. But all the derivation is gone, and we directly use the results. In general, J integral for a variety of configurations can be written in this simple form. J is equal to eta. This is long n, not n, long n, it is eta, UC upon B. Remember, earlier we were using only small b, because this capital B, the thickness, we were assuming to be 1. But in reality, the thickness is there. If you want to find per unit, right, that we want a unit area, whatever area is there, we want a unit area, the thickness is 1 centimeter or whatever, then this B will go away. Otherwise, capital B into small b. And this eta is a dimensionless constant. This eta is a dimensionless constant. This equation contains the actual thickness, capital B, while the earlier derivations assumed a unit thickness for convenience. And this equation expresses J as energy absorbed divided by the cross-sectional area times a dimensionless constant, right? The energy absorbed per unit area into a constant. It is just like, right, earlier, if you remember, there is a Y factor, a geometry factor, and so on. So this is a type of a factor, but J is simply the energy absorbed per unit area, which it should be, right? For a deeply cracked plate in pure bending, eta is equal to 2. The equation can be separated into the elastic and plastic components, right? So the same equation, eta U B, but only for the elastic part, and eta U B for the plastic part, right? Of course, this whole thing, we are dividing this so that this whole thing is, of course, we know it is K1 squared by E. So only the plastic portion is eta plastic, U plastic, right? So this is it, that you find some eta, which is only for the plastic part. This is the energy absorbed for the plastic deformation, and this is the per unit area. And this you always can find from the simple K1 experiments that we have done earlier and so on. Now, with that background, again, before going on, let me remind you, I have reminded you many times that this is fracture mechanics. In many universities in the world, this is not taught at an undergraduate level. Even at a graduate level, masters and PhD, it is taught only if somebody with a fracture mechanics background is there in the university. Otherwise, people do their masters also and their PhDs also in mechanical engineering without any exposure to this course. For you, thankfully, or whatever, right, you can always consider that it is your bad luck or it is your good luck. It depends on which side of the coin you are looking for. For you, I am here. I have a background in fracture mechanics, even though my full background is not fracture mechanics. I am an applied mechanics and design person and an applied materials and manufacturing person. So design and manufacturing. But because I am in that area and I know that fracture mechanics is very critical, so I took these courses in my PhD work and so on, and I applied them in a lot of my PhD work, and I applied them later on and so forth. There are other people I know some people in UAE, Masdar, I know some people in Texas A&M whose whole field is damage and fracture mechanics. Whole field is damage and fracture mechanics. So of course those type of people are much higher than me, but I am a user of fracture mechanics at a lower level. But I am here, so I am trying to do it a watered down version, a simplified version, which you can understand to some extent at an undergraduate elective level. But this is a very high level course. Some portions are very easy to understand, at least in terms of the physics of the problem, mechanics of the problem, but the other portions are higher level. So that higher level is there, but I am trying to understand for you the basic mechanics, the basic physics of the problem, and just directly giving you the final equations. So because I have removed the mathematical difficulty of deriving and so on, then I think you can do it. And of course, anything which is of a slightly higher level, you go through the lectures, you go through my video lectures, and then you try to revise it at least once. And then in the book there is chapter 13, which has some examples and problems, and there are some problems that we do here. Okay, so that is it. But feel good, right, that if you are doing something which is a little tougher at the conceptual level, then you are doing something which a lot of the other people in very good universities in the world are not doing. And when you go and say somewhere that you have done an elective course on fracture mechanics, then I mean, it makes your degree very valuable. So okay, back to your favorite thing, an example. Determine the plastic eta P, the plastic eta factor for the DENT, double edge notched tension, double edge notched configuration, assuming the load plastic displacement curve follows this law, right? So there is a DENT. Just 2-3 slides back we showed you the DENT, right? Double edge notched. There is notch above, notch below, right? And there is size A, size B, and so on. So look at that figure. That is the thing. And the load displacement equation is already given. P is there, C is there. Delta P, the plastic delta raised to capital N, raised to capital N. So this capital C and capital N are there in the equation. So the load is proportional to delta P, which it should be, and the equation is P is equal to C delta P raised to N, right? And of course, don't go further in the lecture notes or the video. Go back, right? Go back and see the solution, and you have the equations and so on. But don't go for the eta for single notch, right? Don't go for eta for single notch. Go for eta for the double notch, and then try to solve it again. Take a piece of paper, go back 2, 3, 4 slides, as much as you want, and work on it until you think you have really done it. If it was an actual class, I will ask you to do it in groups of 2 or 3, discuss, do it please, and I will keep on helping you out from time to time, and then we'll discuss the solution. Here, yes, if you can discuss it with 1 or 2 friends while you are doing it, but do it, and then once you are sure that you have done it, then unpause my lecture and go ahead. Okay, so pause it now, solve it, and once you have solved it, then go to the next slide. Right, so the solution UP is defined as delta P raised to N d delta P because of the equation that you just had, right? You have the U equation, U to delta P, but you just got the equation for P is equal to something. So put that here and integrate it. Now the problem, the good thing is that it is only for delta P, right? So delta P raised to N, it is like X raised to N, right? So when you put the delta P, the C will come out, and delta P raised to N plus 1 upon N plus 1. It is very simple. Delta P raised to N plus 1 upon N plus 1, isn't it? And because of the C delta P relationship, this will come out to be capital P delta P upon N plus 1, right? This N plus 1 is there, and it will still be there as we see it.